Dun, 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 dun. And... All right, it says that we're started. All right, so we got another episode. We are gonna give y'all our opinions on on a lot of new head coaching jobs that have been officially. Some of them officially have already signed their contracts today. A couple of them, I believe. Some already have been hired for a week or two now. There's a long list. I think this is the most head coaches I've seen get hired in the early off season. A lot of teams got rid of their coaches and right when the season ended. Some of them got fired before the season even ended. So with that being said, let me pull up my list of coaching hires that we got here. Actually, before we start the episode, if you enjoy our content and you enjoy what we talk about and what we like to represent and everything, go ahead, hit that like button, comment, give us some ideas, and
Five-star it.
if you so happen to enjoy this video, go ahead and subscribe while you're at it. Now, let's get to rolling. All right, so some information that I got here. New head coaching hires. Top of the list, we got Doug Peterson. He just got hired to the Jaguars. You got Matt Eberflus, got hired to Chicago. Lovie Smith is the Texans head coach.
That's
Kevin
crazy.
O'Connell,
Yeah.
Vikings head coach. Brian Dabble, New York Giants head coach. Josh McDaniels, Raiders head coach. Mike McDaniel, Dolphins head coach. Dennis Allen, Saints head coach. Nathaniel Hackett, Broncos head coach. And I believe there's still some teams out there without a head coach.
Yeah, let's just go straight up into New Orleans, man, because Dennis Allen was the defensive coordinator there. Now it's good to note that this is his second, what do you call it? Second stint as a head coach. So it's gonna be interesting because whenever he was with the Raiders from like 2012 to 2014, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, his record was 8-28 as a coach, as a head coach there. So,
There's a couple of these guys on here where I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel
but
about
Dennis
them.
Allen makes sense. Dennis Allen makes sense because he was the
Yeah.
interim head coach when Sean Payton was sick. Um, he did say today, I think it was today, that when asked like, "Hey, so what are your plans and what is your expectations of New Orleans this year?" And he's like, "I want to create my own legacy."
Mm-hmm.
Now, him having Jameis Winston and Taysom, there's talks that possibly Jameis going to Buccaneers,
Yeah.
reuniting that way. But with Jameis, I want to say as a starter this past season, what did the New Orleans Saints run for the first 5 games? 4-1 with
Yeah.
Jameis.
Yeah. He was either 4-2 or 4. He was doing very well.
Yeah,
Um,
they were doing really, really
the
awesome.
Saints
I mean,
team looks good. It just feels like they're missing like a key piece. Like they're a good team. They were right there at the end. They needed a couple teams to lose. One of them was the Niners. Obviously, they didn't lose, so that was part of the reason why
well, Michael
Saints didn't get
Thomas
it.
also being injured, their number one wide receiver.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
that
sounds
was
like now that we're going to bring up some free agents as well during this episode. Michael Thomas might not even be a Saint anymore here in the near future, depending on some trades that might happen. Yeah, that there's a lot of things going to happen in this upcoming offseason once the Super Bowl is over with. A lot of moving
yeah,
pieces. Like
yeah.
Saints, I feel like weren't the worst hire. Um,
Well, this hire made sense. It wasn't.
yeah.
It just made sense. Dennis Allen, I think he's gonna do really, really solid,
Hmm.
and I'm excited to see kind of what he does with the Saints. They're already, they've always been a good defensive team, and I mean, partly with him, he's built that team defensive wise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, they've been a wrecking crew. I mean, with Tom Brady only scored 3 points, and it was a straight up defensive game. So, New Orleans Saints, they just need to figure out the offensive wise. And kind of curious to see how Dennis Allen runs that team.
Mhm.
You mentioned Michael Thomas possibly not being a Saint. That's
And now,
huge.
if you're paying attention to football at all, just this past weekend, Alvin Kamara may not be a Saint anymore either.
And if he is a Saint, I know the NFL hasn't released it yet, but there's a possible 6-game suspension facing him.
Yeah,
Now,
he beat the crap out of
that's
somebody.
still in the
I
works.
mean, he's
That's
going to court.
still
It goes to court in March, so he's
yeah.
got some time.
They're still figuring all that out. So obviously off season they'll come up with, something, what's gonna happen and whatnot. But um it's pretty crazy to see a lot of these coaching changes. Sean Payton just stepping away from the team. I mean, the dude's
Mhm.
58 and he's won so many damn games with New Orleans. I was a bit shocked to see him step away. But I mean, hell, hopefully he does whatever he does next. Hopefully he excels just like he did, just like he was as a head coach.
Yeah.
Now let's go ahead and segue over to Miami. I think Mike McDaniel. Now, me and Tyler actually had a conversation yesterday maybe,
Yeah.
about Mike. You said he was 1 year in San Fran.
I I have it. I think as the OC.
Now, I know Mike has a awesome relationship with Kyle Shanahan, and people have said before that Mike McDaniel was Kyle's like protege. Now, Mike and Kyle are very offensive minded, and that is what succeed. I mean, that's how the Niners succeeded so well this
Yeah.
season.
I feel as
Uh,
if them picking up an offensive coach is going to benefit them because they're trying to develop Tua. They're trying to really lean on the fact that Tua needs to be the guy.
and I like Tua. I think Tua is a great quarterback. I think he has a lot of passion and wants to do better and wants to succeed in Miami. Mike also, he wants to succeed. I mean, this is a big deal for Mike, and
Mm.
I think Miami, the way their season was last season, started pretty much 1-7. I mean, they lost half their games and almost half. Excuse me. Yeah, they did lose
They
half
won
their games,
9, I
but
believe. I think they went 9 and yeah, I think they went 9-8.
but Miami, the turnaround that they did, of course, that was courtesy of Brian Flores. How he was a coach. Um, but
This
either way,
team
though, like take
this team had
away,
a lot of up and down injuries.
but
They
they
were very
came
beat up.
back at the
Yeah.
end of the season.
They got guys back
So
at the right time and then it just wasn't it just what they didn't just all they needed to do is if they would have won one more game, if they would have started winning just a little bit earlier, they would have
oh,
probably been.
Miami would have been in the playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and it was just so odd to see Flores go out that way when you almost took a team into the postseason.
yeah, and with Mike McDaniel being such an offensive minded coach, that brings up like what Tyler said, free agency. We're gonna kind of talk about free agents, where we think they're gonna go, people that guys that are on their last year. I
Hmm.
mean, Mike, there's a lot of stuff on the table for him to choose from right now. I mean, pretty much the biggest one right now is Devontae Adams. I mean, if you ask me, second one, Chris Godwin.
Hmm.
Um, but he's coming off an injury, so it's tough. But either way, though, Mike McDaniel, there is weapons on the table for Miami,
Absolutely.
and
I feel like Miami made one of the better hires. I'm not just speaking just for the fact from where this guy came from, but um, depending, I mean, he's getting a situation where he had Jimmy as his quarterback, and now
and then won fucking ball games.
and they won ball games with Jimmy. Now this guy already has the team is put together. Now he's going to bring in who he feels as if needs to be brought in. I think Miami needs some run support. They don't have a whole lot of a backfield going on there. He's definitely going to bring that running presence, I feel, to Miami just because of what he ran in San Francisco. I feel like he's going to bring in a more physical aspect to that team. He has a quarterback that can throw the damn ball. Can't forget Tua set a lot of records when he was in college as a quarterback. He is not a slouch as a quarterback. He's not even a slouch now in the NFL.
No, he's
He
great.
just needs.
He has growing pains. He has growing pains.
He just needs. I mean, I think Tua is at a point in his career where they're trying to set him up with the best situation possible. I think they feel as if this head coach will be able to develop him offensively.
Yeah, there's a video actually. I was watching it before we even started this podcast that Mike phoned Tua, and just you can already see the relationship already developing and how much Mike has faith in Tua.
It was a little cringy because cameras fucking right in their faces.
Oh yeah, they were.
It was
Yeah,
like I was like, this looks a little set up, but okay.
but either way, though, I feel 100% Mike going into this situation. He is very passionate on who he has right now. Tua, I'm
Not
not
to
going to
mention,
compare him
he just
to
got in
Jimmy.
there. He just got in there today, and we're about to see who Miami's about to bring in.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to note you actually mentioned a running game. James Conner's
There's a lot of
gonna be a
running
free agent.
backs, and
Melvin Gordon. I
hey,
mean,
pending Alvin Kamara's situation, we might see that man. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but he might end up on another team.
you never know.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. This is actually one of the signings that I was pretty hyped about. I like Mike McDaniel. He's
Got that
he's solid.
He's got that mastermind presence. He has that. I mean, the offense he was putting together was phenomenal. But he was
Yeah,
already. I didn't think that he was going to get hired that quickly.
Well,
Some of these guys, I just didn't think it was going to happen that quickly for a lot of them. Like to see this many,
right.
it kind of. I would say some of these guys blew up possibly too fast. I'm not sure if you want to talk about Hackett now. You want to talk about anyone else? Because I feel like before we even get to talk about Miami a whole lot, we got to see who they bring in. Because right now, I mean, they're set up pretty nice. They have a pretty good secondary. They have a pretty good defense. I feel like their weak point right now is developing the quarterback and figuring out that offense a little bit. And if they could bring in a couple guys, couple key pieces, that team might be ready to go from the start of the season.
And they got a good solid wide receiver as well with Waddle. And
Yeah, they have a lot going on there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Now it's cool that that's actually where I was gonna segue to was Denver with Nathaniel Hackett.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking about this. If you're a Green Bay fan, I mean, hell, Broncos fan, you're talking about
Broncos.
You are talking about Denver, and you are talking about possibility. Aaron Rodgers discount, double check, State Farm.
State Farm.
Him coming to Denver. Now, yes, Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator from Green Bay, him coming in to be the head coach. Didn't somebody else from can't think of somebody else came over to Denver from Green Bay. Can't think of his name right
QB
now,
coach.
but
The
QB coach. Don't have his name in front of me right now, but either way,
it's looking like they're trying to line something up.
You're doing a Dwayne The Rock Johnson right now. You're raising your eyebrow, being like, Aaron,
and then Aaron got property in Tennessee, and then Tennessee came out and said, nope, we're not interested. So, there's a lot of drama going on right now.
Well, Mike Vrabel, and he just got an extension. So did the GM. So
They better address their
My
quarterback situation then.
Here's the thing, Tannehill has had his ups and downs, but
Tannehill
Mike
does not
Vrabel believes
suck,
in him, man.
but
And
Vrabel needs to accept the fact that they made some coaching mistakes in that game. Because they could have easily been in the situation the Bengals are in. Bengals made the right decision when the time came. And I feel
yep,
as if when Tennessee could have put it, zipped up the bag and walked away, they didn't do it. They made some really questionable
9
calls.
sacks, man.
9
9 fucking
sacks. Yeah,
sacks.
your defense showed up. Your defense put everything on the table and said, hey, this is $1 million right here. We gave y'all everything we got. And just
Yeah.
they gave $1 million effort, and that offense, man, just play call wise, they made some really. They had the Tennessee kind of did what the Chiefs did in a way, like they just made a lot of. I feel like that's possibly why they're not really shutting the door on Tannehill, because like they were like, Tannehill, it's in your hands, and that's not who you want to quarterback wise. He's not Brady. You want to just be like, hey man, win us the game. Like he's
But it's
not
good to
that
note,
guy.
though, when Derrick Henry went down, Tannehill did carry the team. Now, granted, that was also on McDaniel and I mean AJ Brown was always solid too. He was always getting
Hmm.
open for
They
Tannehill, but
they and
their
not
running game
that
never really stopped.
yeah, Tennessee like it didn't stop, but it wasn't the same. If you know what I mean.
No, obviously, no one's like Derrick Henry right now. I mean,
No,
the only one
and
that I could even
it wouldn't
think
even
of.
surprise me if Derrick Henry possibly gets another procedure of some sort on that foot, because in that this is totally outside of what we're talking about, but Tannehill can't take all the blame, obviously, but I don't even know how we ended up talking about Tennessee so much. We started
Oh, we're
rambling.
talking about Aaron with him
Oh,
possibly
possibility of
buying
yeah,
property in
Aaron,
Nashville.
Aaron possibly going to Nashville, going to Denver. There's possibly getting traded to a soon to be quarterbackless, not quarterbackless, but you know, a Jimmy-less Niners. Um,
That would be awesome. His
who else
favorite
is
team
there?
growing up.
Bucks. A lot of people are bringing this up. They really feel it's starting to, like, media wise, they're really starting to lean on the fact that Aaron might end up in Tampa. Um, there's just a lot going on. Brady all of a sudden started coming out and said, I'm not going to close the door on coming back. And then everyone's like, oh, here we go. Last person that said this that retired came out of fucking retirement. So there's a
Yeah.
possibility Brady's going to possibly back out of his retirement. There's there's just
Well,
a
I mean,
lot
we'll
out
know
there
more
now.
straight up in the off season, like 100%. But going back to Denver with Nathaniel Hackett, uh, I mean, he 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 was a play caller for Buffalo Jacksonville before his time with the Packers.
Yeah.
So Denver going with Hackett makes sense. They got to get that offense going. I mean,
Now, he ended on a terrible note. He really did with Green
yeah,
Bay.
he did. Now Denver just, did you know that this is their fourth coach since the
Oh
start
yeah,
of the
Denver
2016
has been
season?
in shambles since Manning left.
Yeah, so I mean, I completely understand why Nathaniel Hackett
Denver's going to have to pull
went
what
to
they did a
Denver.
few years ago. They're going to have to bring in a guy like a
They're gonna have
veteran
to go all
president.
in like LA.
Yeah, they're
I
gonna.
mean,
They
but
have. They're not that bad, but they just need to cut. They're
yeah,
same thing as Miami. They need a couple key pieces, and then they'll be in the talks of being back for a couple
their
years.
division is tough. Their
Their
division is
division's
tough though.
solid. The whole AFC West and NFC West is like blowing up right now. Like it is going nuts.
Yeah.
There,
Now,
your dog in the back.
now that's Stella. If
I have a few
anybody's wondering.
episodes where my dogs go crazy in the background.
Yep. Stella was just saying hi. Episode, it's Tuesday, February 8th. Other than that, guys, with Denver, we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens in the offseason, who's going to get picked.
Yeah. There's obviously a lot of players that are going to be moving.
Now, I do want to kind of just segue. We'll hit this head coaching in just a minute, but what are your thoughts on Kyler Murray just scrubbing everything on social media? Do you think it's a play for money? Like, hey, I want
People,
money.
MLB even tapped in on that a little bit. They're
Yeah.
thinking they might know a little bit more. I mean, obviously, there's people close to him that know more than any of us. Him scrubbing his social media might just be because he felt like it. People might be looking way too far into this. People
I
do
mean,
it all the time.
I honestly think like he wants to get paid.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, on my social media, sometimes I go in and I'm like, damn, that picture's from like 12 years ago. Let me go in. Let me go ahead and get that off of there. Like, there's some, but I mean, the dude's page was all Cardinals stuff. They kind of ended on a terrible note, and then
Yeah.
maybe he's just like, maybe refresh everything. Like, hey, like we kind of hyped ourselves up too far, and maybe he just wanted to stop riding the hype train a little bit. But he is in his 5th year. If they exercise the 5th year option, it could be to. He might be in negotiations right now. So maybe he's trying to basically say, until they give me something worth keeping all this memory of, there might be a possibility that he gets traded, but I don't see that really
I
happening
don't see
because
that happening at
they
all.
won't be
I
able
see this as a
to.
play for money because Russell Wilson honestly kind of did the same thing, but instead of scrubbing everything, this Russell Wilson said, "Hey, these are the 4 teams that I will play for." Now, he didn't say that he would leave or anything like that. And then the
Yeah.
Seahawks said, "Okay, say less. Let me go ahead and pay this man." Now, I mean, but Russell had the ammo, made it to 2 Super Bowls,
Yeah, I mean,
lost one.
Kyler Murray has turned that team around. That team is not shit
With
without.
help, with help. Now,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
going to take
mean,
everything away from Kyler
they
because he
cashed
is a
good. I
solid.
think they were just very sad at the fact that D Hop, the way he ended up not being around when they cashed in.
Yeah,
They
with
cashed
well,
in
they
and
I
D
wouldn't say
Hop
they
got
cashed in because Houston
unknown.
literally gave away Hop.
And
Literally
then
just gave him away.
JJ came walking in. JJ showed up and actually had a hell of a postseason game. Um,
He
and
did. He did.
like I feel like that team was they were cashed in, but they just knew they didn't have their guy out there. Because I'm telling you right now, Cardinals would have gave the Rams a hell of a run for their money if D Hop was playing. Because the
Yeah.
Cardinals were killing people. It went 8-0.
Yeah.
Like
It's
they were when D Hop was out
They
there,
were
man.
steamrolling at the beginning.
Yeah,
They were
they were
straight up
freaking.
steamrolling.
They were going over everybody. D Hop was having a career year. Like he was stomping dudes. Like he was
Yeah.
burning dudes every route. Like it was like set. They even had the memes like what Joe Burrow's got. Like oh Chase is down there.
Yeah,
You
but
know what I mean?
D-Hop has one of the
He's the
most
same way, man. It's like Murray
famous
can hike the ball.
catches against Buffalo, man.
Yeah, and I mean
Just
he can hike the ball and be like, "Hey, man, I don't really care, but I'm throwing it that way." And he
No,
lost
yeah.
that. He lost that, and he had to
Nah,
really rely on all of his other receivers, and
which
his
Christian
running
Kirk,
his backfield
honestly,
isn't.
Christian Kirk and AJ Green, they kind of underwhelmed me a lot because I mean AJ Green is AJ Green. I
Oh,
loved
bro,
him in
I feel
Cincinnati.
for AJ Green to be in Cincinnati for so long. You leave, and then they go to
Oh,
the Super
they
Bowl once you gone. Once you're gone.
now AJ Green though is a solid ass wide receiver. He balled out in the postseason, and
Mm,
I mean he balled out when D Hop left. But the thing
yeah,
is though,
they just
is
needed
AJ
D-Hop.
Green
They needed
is
D-Hop.
yeah is AJ Green that D Hop threat?
No,
No.
D-Hop's his
Christian
own
Kirk,
category, man.
yeah, Christian Kirk is he really underwhelmed me as well. But with James Conner got hurt as well. James Conner was hurt for a minute, and
I
that was
think
another key
basically
piece.
Kyler Murray is in negotiations with getting a contract. Just to
Oh, no
wrap this
doubt.
up, Cardinals
Yeah.
obviously are going to be at the top of their game again. Kyler's still going to be there. People said this might be him saying that he might be going to baseball because he's still in the A's organization.
Well, there. I mean, the only reason why they're saying that is because there was a picture of him um, wearing Oakland A's
He was
attire. I mean, shit.
drafted by them.
If
He was
I was
drafted
drafted
by
by
them.
them and I'm playing football, damn straight I'm gonna sport their gear as well. But you'll never know. But like you said, moving on from Arizona, uh, the next one that I would like to talk about is Raiders. Josh
Yes.
McDaniels.
I think Raiders really pulled the trigger on this guy based off of just the fact that he has experience as a head coach. His run as a head coach was not that great. Um, I don't agree with them hiring him. I really think Rich should have got the job. Um, and then no one hired Rich, but Green Bay made a power move and took him off the market quick.
Oh, that was a huge move for Green Bay to
Yeah,
pick him up as the special teams coach.
I can never say his damn last name. You can. I can never say it.
Rich
Freaking
Bisaccia.
yeah, Rich Bisaccia. There we go. Now everyone knows who the hell we're talking about. Obviously, you kind of had an idea, but
We're just kind of dancing around that last name.
yeah, I'm down.
No.
I hate butchering names. But yeah, Rich should have been the head coach, in my opinion. I feel like what he did with the Raiders and the situation that they were in, I think
A lot of drama.
a lot of drama, but like the players were really pulling. Like this is where I think the Davis family needs to let go and listen to what the hell everyone in the building is wanting. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't think Derek Carr wanted that at all. I don't think he wanted to deal with another full offseason of changes. Because now he's gonna. Because Josh McDaniel, I mean McDaniel, he's gonna bring in whatever offense he wants, and he's gonna tell the quarterback figure it the fuck out. And I don't think that's the right answer with the amount of years that Derek Carr has. I feel like
Yeah,
they should
Derek
have
Carr has
listened.
been through so many damn coaching changes. It's pretty damn sad that Derek
I
Carr
hate
hasn't
to
really
say it,
been
but the Raiders might be
truly.
without Carr. He might
No, I
demand.
don't think so. I think Derek Carr is going to stay. I know people have talked about it, media has talked about it, but I really feel like Derek Carr will stay. Now,
Is he upset? I think so.
I think so as well. Now, it's fair to say that Marcus Mariota, you know, people aren't talking about him, but I mean, he was a starter for Tennessee for a good while. Marcus Mariota might be like, hey, let me go somewhere else. Okay. But Rich Bisaccia, though, just kind
Yeah.
of talking about him not getting that head coaching job. He was an interim head coach for what,
I
8
just it
games?
didn't make sense. And then he got hired as a special teams coordinator. And I'm like, yeah,
But
Green
he's
Bay
never
needed
been a
that.
head coach though at any level though. That's what I found
Yeah.
out. He's never been a head coach at any level.
But
Now,
man, that was
he
a
did
hell
a
of a statement.
he did a damn good job as an interim head coach.
Because the Raiders are another team. Like they could have easily been in it.
Well, they could have been. I mean, let's
They have a really good
Raiders
team.
fans listening, more than likely would have won that game if they would have actually honored the whistleblow rule.
Yeah.
But that's in the past. I mean, we're not. We've
Okay.
already
Can't
talked about
dwell. Yeah,
that.
we have
But
already talked about this, but the McDaniels hire it could work, but I don't think he should have been the guy.
I don't. I don't want to say not the guy. Him backing out whenever he got offered the job in Indy. He wanted to
Mhm.
stay with Belichick, stay with the winning team, get it 100%. Now you're going to the Raiders organization where yeah, you're I know the Patriots personal executive,
Mhm.
I think his name is Dave Ziegler.
Mhm.
They hired him as their general manager. So, I see Josh McDaniels, I mean, someone familiar coming in, and then he's an offensive minded coach.
Yeah.
Well, head coach for sure, but uh can he help Derek Carr? Can he help? I mean, he has weapons there, run for a Waller.
I feel
Um,
like if McDaniels wants that team to work, they should leave the offense that they have in place.
I think they could change a few
Oh, play
components.
call wise, yes, but I'm talking like the style that they were running, it was working.
Yeah, and now
They went 10 and
Derek,
7, yes. I mean, they slipped in. I mean, that's how a lot of teams make it. I mean, look at the Bengals, they slipped in. But
yeah, they're 10-7 and they're in the Super Bowl.
yeah, but I just feel as if he comes in there and just wipes that organization clean, they're gonna have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Because you got a veteran running back, you got a veteran quarterback, you got
You got two veteran running backs,
yeah,
Kenyon
you
Drake
got,
and Josh Jacobs.
and then you got your tight end. He's been around for a minute. He knows what the hell's going on. They know what they got. They got freaking well, they had Ruggs. Fucking who is there? You got Renfro that had just had a career year. Like they got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Their defense is very solid. Like they got, they don't have a lot of players that are leaving. This team is really set up for McDaniels to have a lot of success if he doesn't come in there and change a bunch of stuff. Obviously, they need a culture change because they get into trouble left and right off the field.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders are getting a little taste of moving that team to Vegas. Just having the Pro Bowl in Vegas got a couple guys in trouble. Like Vegas is a bad spot to have young people with a lot of money.
Yeah, but it's so smart too, man.
It's
Just
so
that's
smart
such
because
a
you bring in a lot of freaking money.
Oh
You bring in a
yeah.
lot
I
of
mean,
money.
it's a money move for sure.
They might become the new um you got the Yankees. They might become like the Yankees of football. Like they might just be able to buy their way. Kind of like what LA just did. They're gonna buy their way in.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Raiders. Josh McDaniels, I'm excited to see.
I really hope it works out just because like it didn't work out for him before. And like he's had a lot of success on his resume just being with Belichick for so long.
Yeah. Um, but shoot, we will have to see. Next team you want to talk about is possibly Jags.
Yeah, we could talk about now Doug Peterson. That hire made me happy. It really did because he does well with young guys. He does well because at the time when he was doing really well in Philly, he had young quarterbacks in Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. He really developed them. He's got proof that he can develop the young guys and do something big with them. Trevor Lawrence is obviously, you know, uh, he's looking a little shaky. He didn't really get a whole
First
lot of
season.
help.
First season
Yeah, he
though.
didn't.
I
He didn't get a whole
I have
lot of
faith in
help.
Trevor.
He went to the worst possible team. I mean, you get drafted, so you just got to take what you get. But Doug Peterson could easily flip this team around. They got a lot of pieces that they need to get though in order to turn this team around.
No doubt. Doug Peterson was honestly like, I'm not going to speak for the Jacksonville organization, but I don't want to say Doug Peterson was the second pick, but I know they were gunning for Nathaniel Hackett. But
yes,
Denver pulled the trigger
Doug
and they
Peterson
said,
was the first coach
yeah,
they interviewed. He
yeah,
waited 12 more interviews later, almost 2 months later, to get told that he's hired. So Jacksonville was the most active team. They interviewed pretty much all of these guys that are hired right now.
yeah, because Jags brought Doug Peterson back in for a second interview around the beginning of February. And yeah, you said it was like 2 months. Like, I think his first interview was either a month out or 2 months
December
out, somewhere.
26th, the day after
Damn.
Christmas. Yeah.
So yeah, Doug Peterson, you hit it right on the head with, him going into Philly, developing, the team that he had.
And basically, I hope that he addressed the fact, like, hey, I want to say and who I bring in. And, like, he didn't really, based on, like, it was rumors, though. I'm not saying this is what actually happened in Philly, but they would not hand him the key. Like, hey, I want the key to the master. It just
Well,
didn't
it sucks
happen.
for him. Same
But I
thing with,
think this time he addressed that. Like, hey, I want to bring people in.
yeah, you have his damn statue built in Philly, and then after one season, gone. Now, just getting that old Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson vibes 100% with Doug, but I'm happy for Doug. I mean, he went 42 and 31 and won and made 3 playoff appearances in 5 seasons in Philly. Like, it's pretty damn
Sometimes,
good.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think he's due. You know, he's got a huge assignment with the Jaguars. I mean, that might have been another thing why the other candidates didn't work out. It's like, hey, we're the worst team. Like, we are bottom of the barrel. We are
yeah,
fucking terrible. But so was
but
Philly when he took over Philly. Philly was
you never know,
awful.
man. I mean, Doug, old Doug can come in and shock some people. I mean, he has a good quarterback. Yeah, 100% rocky season. I know all the haters are, Trevor Lawrence this, Trevor Lawrence that, but either way, man, the dude was great at Clemson, and
Yep.
I'm excited for him to be in this league and kind of see what he does. Granted, it's with Jacksonville, but we'll see. We will definitely see. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
I'm excited.
We could talk about the Giants, Brian DeBole.
So the bowl. Um, I understand this. I
Yeah.
do. He was Buffalo Bills offense coordinator. Had Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming in. He has uh, Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones is not a terrible quarterback.
No,
Okay.
this team is just riddled with, I think,
Daniel
bad.
Jones,
They just had bad
yeah.
decisions for those. They had a
Well,
terrible.
their offensive line is terrible. No weapons. Sterling Shepard, I think I mean, I can't even think about how many touchdowns Sterling and uh I mean, I just don't think he had that many. I mean, he was always injured as well. Daniel Jones, and I hate the fact that the Giants fan base is clowning Daniel so bad. He is a good quarterback, and one thing I do like about him, and this is kind of what makes sense for me, and maybe
Mhm.
you can agree or disagree. Let me know. Daniel Jones, not gonna compare him. Let me use my words very carefully to Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a very physical
Yeah.
quarterback.
No, I
Throw
see
the
where you're
damn
coming.
ball.
I see where you're coming
Daniel
from on
Jones is
that.
the same exact way. He can run. We've seen it happen,
He's
and they
very.
clown him for it. He ran fucking 40 plus yards and tripped on his own feet when he was playing against Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen plays the exact same way, but better.
Yeah.
Now, the ball coming in, I mean, this just makes sense. Now, what can he do to give Daniel weapons? What can he do to ensure that, hey, when pocket collapse, we're not getting sacked. Josh Allen's going to fight for that extra 10 yards. Hopefully, Daniel Jones can do the exact same. But the thing is, though, that pocket cannot collapse as fast as it has been doing this whole season.
Yeah.
So it's
Um,
interesting.
I don't think this one is a bad hire. Hopefully, it works out. Um, they got, they're kind of like the Jaguars. They got a lot to fix. um,
I I do I will agree with you on that, but I think New York is probably sitting a little bit better though.
yeah. I mean, people do gotta remember Yeah, they are sitting a lot better actually. They got a little bit better
I mean,
setup, but
Jacksonville and New York finished last in their division, but it's my personal opinion. Eddie's New York Giants is sitting a little bit better.
yeah, 100%. That and I think New York just has that. Their time is due, kind of like how the Bengals they've been. They sucked for a really long. They've turned full circle like that. Sometimes
I
you
don't want to
just
say
need.
New York's always sucked though. Don't say that because
No,
New
no,
York
no. I
has
meant
been
that.
great.
No, they had their great. They were all time greats for a while, but ever
Eli,
since, yeah, ever since Eli hung it up, man, they really they hit a brick wall when he hung it up. They
yeah,
were
man.
like, "Oh man, this one hurts." And they were like, "Yeah." Ever since Eli hung it up, I know people have their ways of talking about Eli, but hey, Eli kind of has that Jimmy effect. He
Well,
won damn games.
yeah. I mean, Eli though. After that Super Bowl, man. I mean, New York. It's no lie that New York is coming up on an 8 to 10 year, like
Drought.
one of the worst 8 to 10 years in franchise history for them. Um, and it was kind of crazy to watch all of the games with New York sell the team with the bat like the brown bags over their head. It was pretty dude
Ugh.
that was pretty rough. Just got
All right.
instantly Houston vibes.
Yeah. We kind of addressed New York. Our opinion on the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell.
Oof.
Um, I actually
Kevin
think
O'Connell.
I actually think I feel bad for the Rams because that was they snagged him up. Uh, Rams to lose their coaching staff that quickly kind of sucks. Because obviously, I think Kevin O'Connell being the Vikings head coach, it just might push them over the edge. That might just bring in just
Yeah.
because of what he did in LA. Now he did have a lot of weapons in LA, but he's got Justin Jefferson. He's got possibly Kirk Cousins right now. We don't know with the whole Kirk Cousins situation. Um, Kirk Cousins is not terrible. Kind of like Jimmy and Tannehill. He's just like he's there. Doesn't
Yeah.
He's not like, oh my God, we need to get a quarterback situation. But they're getting to a point where I think our Kirk Cousins days are limited.
Yeah,
Um,
and what's cool is that Kevin O'Connell though
he can
is
work with
making
that.
moves.
He
Well,
can.
he can work with that, but he's making moves already. I know Kevin, his mindset is what as you said, Kirk Cousins, address the situation there. Kirk Cousins,
He's like the less
he
talented. I'm not saying he's not that. He's not like so below, but he's like the less talented Matthew Stafford. He's the Dollar General Matthew Stafford. You're not gonna get the Matthew
oh, that's
Stafford no
tough.
looks
Oh,
and stuff.
that hurt me for him. But
Yeah, you're not gonna
uh
get the no looks and the fancy pass plays out of him every time. But you are gonna get a guy that is determined. He kind of has that Josh Allen effect. He doesn't obviously play like him, but he's very gritty.
well, the dude wants to win ball games. He
Yeah, he
wants to be
wants
a
to win ball
champion.
games. He knows that he's good enough to win the ball games. He just doesn't really have that great of a team around him. Um, when you're the
Well, I mean,
quarterback,
he does, but it's just do we blame it on play calling? Do we blame it on
that's I think that's another reason why they brought in an offensive head coach is they feel as if you bring that factor in, you might be able to get some turnaround a little bit.
well, they have to address the defense. Vikings, you know,
Yeah.
growing up, I mean, Vikings defense has always been solid,
Oh yeah, they've always
when Green
had.
played, yeah, I mean, Mike bringing in Zimmer. Zimmer's a defensive minded coach. Like now this year we obviously didn't see it. Pretty much the reason why they let him go. But that's kind of what I was bringing up, though. Kevin O'Connell's already making moves, and he just got hired. he requested an interview for Aubrey Pleasant from the Detroit Lions as
Yeah,
a
because
possible.
what's crazy is he's doing all this, and his team is currently in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's kind of,
Are they focused right now? Is he focused on what's at task?
he's like, let me get these dollar bills real quick, okay? Let me
Yeah,
get
he
this
just
Super
got a
Bowl
payday,
check. Let
so
me get
you
yeah.
got you know damn well this man ain't sleeping because he's
But
got
what's
a
cool
Super
though
Bowl
is
and
that
he's controlling a whole other team right now.
yeah, what's cool though is Aubrey Pleasant was with the Rams as a DB coach as well from 2017 to 2020.
Yeah, he's gonna bring
Um,
in who he's familiar with.
yeah, and now he's a DB coach for Detroit Lions. Obviously, Detroit Lions was terrible this season, but nothing to say about Aubrey Pleasant. I mean, I think he's a great teacher, and I mean, possibly him being the defensive coordinator for the Vikings would be pretty fucking solid and a huge pick. Um,
Yeah,
I'm actually really excited to see what Minnesota does in the
I
next
like
2 years.
Minnesota's hire. Yeah, they're one of my top three um hires that actually enjoyed seeing.
And what's cool about Minnesota, I mean, besides the Saints, Miami, and Raiders, um, Vikings have a good team. They're
Mm-hmm.
just missing those few key components,
Yeah.
which
I wouldn't be
they could
surprised if
definitely pick
they.
up in free agency.
Yeah, there's a lot of trades that are about to happen. I feel as if the way he's at being so active already, Vikings look like they're gonna. He's coming from a place where they cashed in, so I feel as if he's got that mentality in him right now.
Yeah.
To be a very cash in type of personality, just based on what LA just did in their season. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Vikings start just firing off. We
On
need
all
this guy. We
cylinders.
need this
Yeah.
guy. We'll trade you picks for this guy. We're cashing in. I feel as if we're ready. We're doing it. And
And
there's a
I
couple teams
honestly,
like right now that are gonna do it, I think.
no, for sure. And I think Kevin O'Connell, like him coming in, requesting an interview with Aubrey Pleasant,
Hmm.
um, I honestly think that, their offense is not terrible. Their O line,
Yeah.
a little rocky.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, hell, man, they got McKinnon, they got Justin Jefferson. I mean, they have weapons, and they run the ball as well. Now
Now, yeah,
they
yeah.
just need they need that defensive those defensive leaders, and there's a lot of defensive players coming
Yeah,
out of the
about
draft, and as well as
free
free
agency.
agents. Yeah.
You got I'm just saying, the Rams ain't gonna be able to hold on to all those dudes.
No, no, man.
That's
I
why
mean,
I'm
Von
thinking
Miller, I think he's gonna
I'm
retire
thinking
if
O'Connell might have got hired based on the fact that he's like, hey, I'm not saying I'm bringing these guys in, but I got them on my team that I'm working with now, and I have a pretty good feeling that they're not going to keep them around when this is all said and done. And I feel as if I could bring a couple of those guys over here. And that might have been like a very like 50-50, like, damn, we might need to bring this guy in because he's got some pull. Got a lot of pull right now.
yeah.
He's got a
Yeah.
lot of pull with a lot of talent.
Yep. And it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be I'm actually really excited to see what Kevin O'Connell does with Minnesota for the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years, and hopefully more to come after that. Just segueing right on over.
We
Why don't we
got
talk about
two.
Houston?
Yeah, we got two more. We got Chicago and Houston. I believe Houston was an internal hire, right? He was already in
Yeah,
the
Lovey
organization.
Smith. He was the assistant head coach, and
Yeah. I mean, I hope it works. I feel as if Houston didn't. From what I mean, media didn't really cover them a whole lot with this, but it just feels like they weren't. Because from what I heard, was Lovey Smith was not the guy they were gonna hire at all. Actually,
well, they were
they
still set
actually
up to have an interview with Brian Flores, I
no.
believe,
So they
and
came
and,
out.
and others and others.
So
So
Brian Flores was no there. This is what kind of bothers me. Brian Flores was the finalist. Like they were going to sign him. He was going to be the head coach of the Texans. And that's what makes me upset about this is that I'm like, and they basically said like if it wasn't for Brian Flores coming out and backing off of everything, and I'm not mad at him for it. I'm not, because those kinds of
No, he's
things need to
raising
be.
awareness.
Yeah,
He's raising awareness.
he's
So
raising awareness, and the NFL is going to have to make changes. Now, it just I feel like, no offense to Lovie Smith, but Brian Flores would have been the better
Brian
person.
Flores, I think if all of the head coaches that we've talked about, Brian Flores would have been awesome.
Now, Houston, now I know like Lovie Smith was probably stepping in heavily towards the end of the season because Houston was actually looking like, I know their season was all but over, but they were looking
They beat Tennessee.
yeah, they were looking pretty. They gave a few of these playoff teams that are in it right now a run for their money a little bit. They didn't win the games, but like they were competitive. And I know
Yeah,
that might be just for the fact that a lot of guys are fighting for their job at that point. So like they were going out and like, hey, I'm trying to stay in the NFL. Let me go ball out these last few games, stuff like that. And I mean, hopefully Lovie Smith, he could get this team up and rolling. It just sucks with the drama that is floating around Houston right now with the whole Deshaun Watson thing. Like people gotta remember that free agency wise, like Deshaun is gonna end up, I hope, on a team at this point.
I miss seeing him play. I miss seeing him play this whole season. Deshaun Watson is an incredible quarterback. Um, we'll see what happens with that. But Lovie Smith, I mean, shit, last time we saw him, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, obviously we saw him as the assistant head coach, but in a head coaching position, he's a former Buccaneers and Bears coach. I mean, with the Buccaneers, everything worked out for the Buccaneers. I mean, hell, they got Bruce Arians and won a damn Super Bowl. So,
Yeah.
Lovie Smith though with Tampa, he did not do terrible, and him coming into Houston in a already pretty bad environment, the
Mm-hmm.
expectation has to be low for him.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you did point out some great points about Houston being a good team towards the end of the year. I mean, they beat Tennessee. I can't think of all their wins right now. I don't have it in front of me, but either
It
way though,
wasn't a
Houston,
whole lot.
yeah. But Houston though, I think they made a good decision with Lovey, and let's just kind of
They did.
see
They ended
how
up
this
just
season
taking, because they
goes.
were one of the last ones to pull the trigger, and that's why I was kind of upset. Is I was like, I feel as if Houston could have done a lot better in this situation.
There was still a lot of coaches
Yeah,
that were
they're
interviewing for
just,
Minnesota,
yeah.
and but I mean I get it though. Houston, I mean assistant head coach Lovey Smith, David Coley goes out. You know, Lovey stepped in, stepped up, like, hey, I can run this team,
Yeah.
and he's done it before in the past with the Bears and Bucks. You know, give the man a shot.
Hmm.
Have the expectation low. Please do not be like New York Jets and fire the dude after a season or two. Please do not. Lovey has to have room to grow this franchise.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you gotta, like, with all of these guys, a lot of these teams are like, besides a handful, were poverty teams. So like, it's gonna take like 4 or 5 years for these teams to finally like feel like they're put together. But
yeah,
some of these organizations, I don't, depending on how their seasons go, are not going to give them that amount of time. That's just how like some places operate. And just to kind of finish off this conversation about all the head coaches, Matt Eberflus is the Chicago Bears
is it
head
Eberflus
coach.
or Ebervis?
Eberflus, based on how it's spelled.
Sure, it's not the L silent. Eberflus.
That I, you know what? I probably butchered it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Probably butchered
uh,
that last name. Um, I don't know how I feel about this one. Chicago just
dude,
they just
there's nothing to feel right now. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay,
yeah, nothing's
Chicago
happened
has
yet.
missed the postseason the past 11 seasons. Okay,
Damn, has it really been that bad?
Yes, it has. Okay. I mean, when you're in a
Why does it feel like they
division,
were in the postseason not that long ago? Then
no, they could have made it to the postseason.
I could have sworn they made it.
No, they could have made the postseason, but they doinked it. They remember that little doink doink.
Oh,
Like
don't-
everybody knows what I'm talking about. If you're a Chicago fan, I don't want to bring that up to you guys. That's why I'm just calling it double doink. Okay. Um, but Matt coming in, Allen Robinson gonna be entering free agency. Oof.
Yeah, they got a lot of people leaving. I'm sorry.
Justin Fields, you guys are. I mean, I say you guys. Chicago.
That's the one thing they do have going for them is Justin Fields looks very promising.
I just feel like they banked on him too fast. I mean, they already signed him a contract, man. Like, I mean, they didn't even let his rookie contract go out. But I mean, hell, man. We will see. But the biggest thing that I like about Matt coming from Indy, as a defensive coordinator, Indy's defense has been solid. I
Well, it
think
was a total
Matt's
Chicago
mental.
move by bringing him in.
Oh, dude, yeah. They're like, hey, Chicago's always been a defensive team. Let me bring in Matt. Indy had a badass defense last season. Yeah, they won half and they lost
They
half. They
came up
lost to
short.
Jacksonville.
They came up short because of quarterback issues.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, but the
I
quarterback totally threw their season away.
Carson, you hear that?
That's why you're not in Philly
You
anymore.
heard that?
Yeah.
Nick Foles is the MVP Super Bowl. Sorry. Um, but either way, though, Matt, I get it, man. It's Chicago. Let me bring this defense back.
Yeah.
But man, I feel for you, Chicago fans. Feel for you. But you know what?
They got an opportunity to do something.
Please sign Allen Robinson back. Okay, you need him. You need him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, uh, there's not too much to talk. I mean, I haven't heard anything surface from Matt, like what
I'm gonna
Chicago's
give
moves are.
yeah. Other than that, it doesn't really impress me who they brought in. They pulled a typical Chicago card on everybody. I don't like it. I feel like they need to get away from their old ways a little bit. But hey, top 3 hires to me. I'm gonna go
Oof.
ahead and name
Okay.
mine. We got Doug Peterson. That
Number
was
one?
no. My top 3, you know what? Here, let me take a look at it.
Go ahead. Take a long look, guys. Long luck.
I'm gonna say
Hit that vape one more time.
Mike all right. Kevin O'Connell number 1, Doug Peterson number 2, and Mike McDaniel number 3.
And bring Dougie.
Yeah, Doug was a pretty big deal, and Kevin O'Connell, I just feel like he fits best into that team. I feel like he's got a lot more pull than the rest of them, and I feel as if Minnesota is going to bring in some talented guys. I
So
think they're going to cash in.
straight up disagree with you right now. Dennis Allen's gonna have the.
I don't see
I
it,
feel
bro.
like
I don't
I feel
see
like
it.
New Orleans is not gonna skip a beat with Dennis.
Until
Obviously,
I
Sean
don't
Payton.
agree with that until I see who the Saints quarterback is.
Let's fucking argue then.
Yeah. Sorry. Hey, just saying.
No, man. I just honestly feel like, man, Dennis Allen's gonna not skip a beat with New Orleans. I like Dennis Allen. I like Mike McDaniel, and I mean Kevin O'Connell. I mean he's already making so many moves, and I feel like
I
Minnesota is
feel
gonna
like the
be.
Vikings are gonna cash in.
I feel it. I see
They're
it.
bringing in a guy that was in an organization that cashed in. I feel as if you kind of brought that to the table when he interviewed. Obviously there was no names named yet, but this guy said something. He said something. He's bringing somebody with him because he brought.
Yeah.
I just feel like just based on what he has in LA, he's bringing somebody. We might see an
Well, I mean,
OBJ.
shit. Well,
We might see an OBJ move. Might
Oof.
still a little
Justin
little,
Jefferson and OBJ.
got a little tandem going on there. They got really good chemistry.
We'll see.
Really see it happening.
But I mean, it's crazy, man. It's really really crazy. All these coaching changes, new hires, everything like that. It's gonna be interesting. We'll definitely see how this season goes, off season, what the moves are gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Free agents right now, I think it's still a little bit kind of early. Obviously, there's some notable names up there: Devontae Adams,
Absolutely.
Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Von Miller's more than likely going to retire. I say more than likely. I mean, let him win another ring. What is he going to do? He's on a 1 year. I mean, LA picked him up, so we'll see.
If he
Chandler
stays, it's gonna be
Jones.
like a 2-year thing, and someone's gonna have to pay him a pretty lump sum amount. But
Yeah, so
with all
it's
that
tough.
being said, we pretty much gave y'all a big off-season update. We're not gonna give y'all our Super Bowl talk yet. We're gonna be loud and thunderous about that one. We have a lot to talk about with the upcoming game this weekend. We plan on giving y'all another episode, but we pretty much knocked and talked a lot about the coaching situations that teams have currently. There's still some moves that are going to be made. And yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. I don't think we have a whole lot else to really bring up. Not a whole. There's free agents that are obviously coming around. That the offseason free agent market, it's going to be really like this offseason's really going to be solely focused not so much on the draft, I think, for a lot of teams, but who they pick up through free agency. Because a lot of these guys,
Yeah,
they're seeing the teams that are relevant, and they're going to go to one of those teams.
it's going to be an exciting ass offseason, everybody. And
Yeah, we're going
I'm
to be able
excited
to. I
to.
feel like we're going to be able to push out some episodes just because of the offseason
Yeah,
antics that are about to kick off.
and we are both excited. Speaking for Tyler as well. I mean, off season to come. There's still, after the Super Bowl, I don't want anyone to think like, oh, what are we going to talk about next? That's going to be, I mean, future. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff, sports all the way around.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not NFL only. It's
we're
just
not one
because the
dimensional.
NFL is the only thing that's relevant right now, and the MLB is locked out. Still,
Yeah, but for sure, off season is gonna be crazy. We're gonna touch on anything huge. Obviously, with all the free agents going on, there's gonna be some pickups in the off season. So everyone's just kind of in that, hey, we got our head coaches. Let's
yeah,
just simmer down.
yeah,
But super stoked to bring you guys more content. Tyler said before we're gonna touch on the Super Bowl later on this week. Hopefully you guys are just as excited. So yeah.
and, all right, everybody. Tune in later on this week. We haven't really determined a day, but we do plan on pushing something out to y'all before Sunday. So somewhat of a heads up. I mean, it's already Tuesday night. Y'all probably be tuning in to this Wednesday morning. Based on how my schedule's going, probably get something knocked out Saturday. So y'all got something to tune into Sunday morning.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, everybody, thank you for listening. You know what to do. We've mentioned it in the beginning. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, the whole 9. Other than that, peace out.
One love.
Later.